So yesterday was a bit of a strange moment for me, I'm not gonna lie, because for the first time in a while I walked past the TV, trust me. I tend to avoid that at all costs, but it felt like it was meant to happen this time because I walked past the TV and I just so happened to see the British Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, the man that wasn't even elected by the people, announcing nonetheless that there will be a general election on the 4th of July. So shocking news, right? Insane news. So whilst you guys over in America will be celebrating Independence Day, we're going to be voting for the next donkey politician, sorry about that, to become Prime Minister. And obviously the candidates that will be going at each other are Rishi Sunak, as I just mentioned, for the Tories, and Keir Starmer for Labour. And let's just cut the crap right now. If you're paying attention to what's going on, you know, the polling, local elections, everything that's transpired, whatever, you know what? You don't even have to pay attention to what's going on anymore. The general feeling is Labour are going to win, and that's because the Tories have made huge mistakes over the years. Some would say they've effed the country up from top to bottom, and because of that, it has given an opening for Labour to come in once again. But let's just pretend for this video that it's going to be a close competition here, and who knows, we could all be completely wrong and something crazy could happen and it will be a lot closer than people think. But before I get into this and discuss everything going on, if you could, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, comment on this video, share this video, follow my socials down below in the description. And firstly, let's begin with the announcement Rishi Sunak made telling everybody there will be a general election on the 4th of July whilst standing in the rain, looking very sorry for himself. Take a watch.
I have never and will never leave the people of this country to face the darkest of days alone. And you know that because you've seen it.
What?
We were hit by a pandemic that upended normal life. Who would have thought that the government would ever tell us how many times a day we could leave our homes? Then, just as we were recovering from COVID, war returned to Europe, with Putin's invasion of Ukraine sending your energy bills spiraling. I came to office, above all, to restore economic stability. Economic stability is the bedrock of any future success, whether that is rising wages and good jobs, investment in our public services, or the defence of the country. Our economy is now growing faster than anyone predicted, outpacing Germany, France, and the United States. And this morning it was confirmed that inflation is back to normal. But this hard-earned economic stability was only ever meant to be the beginning. The question now is how, and who do you trust to turn that foundation into a secure future for you, your family, and our country? Earlier today, I spoke with His Majesty the King to request the dissolution of Parliament. The King has granted this request, and we will have a general election on the 4th of July.
I mean, visually, when you see that, it just doesn't look good, does it? You've got a party who is struggling, and the leader, the Prime Minister, is out there giving an announcement with really no emotion, and he's always been like that, but with no emotion, standing in the rain, getting absolutely soaked. I mean, you would have thought they could have addressed that issue, right? I know it takes us a while to address any issue in this country, many years, but, you know, to leave this man standing out there in the rain giving this sort of announcement, it doesn't look good whatsoever. But with this announcement, you have, you know, Labour very happy about it, leftists happy about it, liberals happy about it, woke snowflakes happy about it, even people on the right are happy about it. That's how insane things are right now. But let's get into this live BBC coverage of what's going on right now, and Rishi Sunak has already got the ball rolling on things. What's the real reason for the 4th of July election? Sunak has asked if the real reason he chose to hold an election is that he's concerned that inflation might rise and migration figures may worsen later in the year. Sunak says this isn't the case and that people are just beginning to feel the benefits of an improving economy, particularly on inflation. The reality is that progress and stability is returning, and I'm the one prepared to take bold action, he adds. Yeah, he's correct there. Inflation is down to 2.3%, which is the lowest it's been for, what, 3 years now, which is crazy to think about. But then again, what happened 3-4 years ago? Pandemic that destroyed a lot of things, economy included, and also common sense. Let's not forget about that one. But whilst inflation is lowering, costs are still sky high. You know, that needs to be addressed as well. And People are still struggling. Sunak was then pressed about the Rwanda scheme, now a question on an issue that's considered a central pillar of the Prime Minister's agenda, illegal immigration. He's being asked about record numbers around illegal channel crossings in specific months. Sunak pushes back and points to figures from the entirety of last year, where he says the numbers were down by around a third. He also talks about working with the French authorities in the channel and the deal his government made with Albania. Sunak is asked about the Rwanda scheme and when the first flight is due to leave for Kigali, to which he replies July. Now, immigration is going to be one of the main talking points in this next general election, I think, because it is so out of control. We're tired of hearing solutions about it. We want to see solutions, okay? And I think people who are going to be voting Labour, if they're honest with themselves for the most part anyway, they would say it's out of control as well. The numbers need to come down. And if we take a look at this graph showing data of people crossing the English Channel in boats, and by the way, this is people detected by year, so think about all the people who have come through undetected, but in 2023 the number was close to 2021. 2022 it went sky high, almost to 50,000. Again, this is detected people, but if we take a look at 2024, it's already at 6,265 people, and that's the latest data from the 21st of April. We're now on the 23rd of May, so that number has definitely increased, and if the trend continues, it wouldn't surprise me if it surpasses 2023 and hits close to 2022. So numbers for this year, not looking too good, and it needs to be addressed ASAP, okay? We know it's not going to happen overnight, but we need to be taking steps towards addressing it properly, and we need harsher stances. I really think we do. You know, people should not be coming into this country illegally, full stop, plain and simple. We don't even know who's coming into this country. People are taking advantage of XYZ. People are taking advantage of the asylum system. It needs to stop. And if people are found to be in this country illegally, then the simple thing is, instead of catering towards this whole thing, which people like to do, deport them. Plain and simple. I don't know why that's so controversial to say. We need safer borders, stricter borders, and you know, funnily enough, with Brexit, we were told that was going to happen, and well, look how that turned out. And I don't think this Rwanda scheme is going to be the answer here. I mean, even Sunak himself has accepted that Rwanda flights apparently won't start before the election. Robinson now presses Sunak on whether flights to Rwanda will take off before the 4th of July, seemingly accepting they won't. He only says they will take off in July, but Sunak has stressed that his government has put everything in place for the scheme to progress, including hiring caseworkers, booking flights, and detaining people. Robinson says no further European country is planning to do what he is planning, even if Robinson says they may process asylum seekers in third countries. But Sunak strongly denies this, referring to a statement from European countries which he says is clear about returning illegal migrants to safe third countries. So the flights won't even begin, apparently according to this article from what Rishi Sunak has said, until July. Right, and that's when the election is going to come around. And the Tories most likely won't get in. Okay, let's be real. And Keir Starmer said this about the Rwanda scheme around May 10th. So Keir Starmer has no doubt Rwanda flights will get off ground, but Labour will cancel schemes straight away. The Rwanda scheme, unless the Tories get in, looks like it's going to be a waste of time and money. Common theme, isn't there? Why have the NHS waiting list gone up? Robinson now asks why NHS waiting lists have gone up and suggests Sunak is reluctant to talk about it. Sunak says waiting lists have not fallen as much as I'd like, before it's pointed out that they haven't fallen at all. Sunak says the Tories are hiring more doctors and nurses and have brought in plans for banning smoking. You can't have a strong NHS without a strong economy, he says, adding that he will now invest more in public services. So this is going to be another big talking point, as it always is. It just seems like the NHS has been in a bad state for a long time now. We only hear really negative things about it, and I personally don't know how you fix it. I haven't really looked too much into how things can be addressed. Maybe you guys can leave comments down below. But for example, the waiting hours, as this article talks about, man, out of control. You know, it's so sad to hear about these stories of people suffering because of the waiting hours. You know, they can't get a hospital bed, whatever, and that shouldn't be happening here. That really shouldn't. I guess you could pour in more investment, but I'd like to know where all that money is going, because it's all right for them to say, yeah, we're going to add millions, billions to this, but where are you using that money? How is it being used? But moving away from Rishi Sunak and what he said this morning, let's take a listen to Keir Starmer, the guy who thinks 99% of women don't have a penis, and what he had to say regarding Rishi Sunak's general election announcement yesterday. Take a listen.
Tonight, the Prime Minister has finally announced the next general election, a moment the country needs and has been waiting for, and where, by the force of our democracy, power returns to you. A chance to change for the better your future, your community, your country. Now, it will feel like a long campaign, I'm sure of that. But no matter what else is said and done, that opportunity for change is what this election is about. Over the course of the last 4 years, we've changed the Labour Party, returned it once more to the service of working people. All we ask now, humbly, is to do exactly the same for our country and return Britain to the service of working people. To that purpose, we offer why you should change Britain with Labour. One, because we will stop the chaos. Look around our country. The sewage in our rivers, people waiting on trolleys in A&E, crime virtually unpunished, mortgages and food prices through the roof. It's all, every bit of it, a direct result of the Tory chaos in Westminster. On the 4th of July, you have the choice. And together, we can stop the chaos, we can turn the page, we can start to rebuild Britain and change our country. Thank you.
Yeah, so this guy is going to be pushing the same rhetoric for the next 6 weeks, and the Tories have made it possible for him to do so because the mistakes are so huge. When anybody comes out and says, yeah, we're going to do the opposite of that, it sounds great. But another thing that sounds great to a lot of other voters is Nigel Farage taking part in this general election. That's something a lot of people want to happen. I would like to see that happen. He would be part of the Reform Party, and we haven't even spoken about them. They will be taking votes away from the Tories. So you can see the direction it's heading in for them unless, again, something drastic happens. But Nigel Farage has confirmed on X he will not be taking part in this general election. I've thought long and hard as to whether I should stand in the upcoming general election. As honorary president of Reform UK, I am fully supportive of Richard Tice's leadership and urge voters to put their trust in him and Lee Anderson. I will do my bit to help in the campaign, but it is not the right time for me to go any further than that. Important though the general election is, the contest in the United States of America on November 5th has huge global significance. A strong America as a close ally is vital for our peace and security. I intend to help with the grassroots campaign in the USA in any way that I can. The choice between Labour and the Conservatives is uninspiring, and only Reform have the radical agenda that is needed to end decline in this country.
There he was, panicked, in the rain, ill-prepared, calling an early general election which shocked and surprised all of us. He did it, of course, because no flights were going to Rwanda. He did it, of course, because he feared that I'd be back in the front line. Now, he may be relieved to know that I'm not going to stand as a candidate myself. Why? 6 weeks isn't long enough to fight a constituency seat and to campaign around the country. The bad news, Mr. Sunak, is I'll be out round the country, fighting, campaigning, appearing on media, supporting Richard Tice in absolutely every single way. Only Reform, in my view, has the agenda that can reverse our national decline. I'll do that, but I'll also, as the year goes on, be increasingly in America, because I think Trump back in the White House makes the world a much, much safer place. So for those who think, thank goodness, he's gone away. No, I haven't gone away at all. And at some point, I'll be back as a candidate as well. This just is not the right time for me. I've got one more big card to play in politics in my life. It's not now.
Now, me personally, when I read that, I think if Reform had a better chance of making huge change in this general election, he would take part. But I think it's pretty obvious where I stand on this whole thing. You know, I don't like the Conservatives at this point. They don't stand for conservative values. Labour, let's not even talk about them. The main issues I have are the economy, taxes, immigration, NHS, public services in general, public transport, and obviously woke ideology. And I don't see how Rishi Sunak is going to make good progress in those areas because past behaviours have shown me they don't want to. But for you guys who will be voting, who will you vote for? Are you going to vote for the Tories because anybody but Labour? Are you going to vote for Reform? I'd like to know. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, comment on this video, share this video. But until next time, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.